Okay, hello, hi. Right, so today's subject is going to be a follow-on from previous videos. So we've been dealing with different areas of healing, and today is going to be about the akash. And when I say the akash, I mean the akashic sphere or realm, which includes the Akashic Records. Okay. So just before we get started, if you're new or if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel and like and share, because it all helps move things forward so that more people can access the information. Okay. Excuse me. Right. So also, if you're new, the way things go, usually the usual format is that I write down channel messages about the subject we're talking about from the galactic team and guides I work with. And then later on I go into live channeling light language codes. Okay, that usually relate to the theme, although sometimes they can be slightly different. I never quite know, so we'll see what happens. All right. Now today I am going to talk a little bit also, I have channeled messages from them because I'm always very particular about doing that, so to make sure that the information that comes through is from them to you and not from me to you. But I am going to talk a little bit about, and they're okay with this, my own experience of going to the Akashic realm or sphere or world, if you like, and how I see it and how I experience it. Okay, all right. So first of all, they said there's never been a better time to do this work. All right, we're fully supported with the energies on the planet. We're fully supported and have much greater access because of the templates and energetic grids that have been removed from the planet. So we're good to go on this kind of work. Okay, yeah. So as I said, the Akashic Records are part of the Akashic world, realm, if you like. And we each experience it quite differently, although there are always commonalities. And when I say we experience it quite differently, I mean that if we are clairvoyant and we astral travel, so we see where we are, all right, in our mind's eye, we can see around us, then we will see very often different things. All right, so I know a friend of mine, some of you might know him, Aaron Nazar. He sees the Akashic realm very differently than I do, all right? So that's okay. That's okay, because Spirit will always show us, and our guides will always show us in a way that is relatable and meaningful for us. As long as there, well, it's not as long as there are, but there are commonalities about how things function. Okay, and what elements are present when we're there, and that's always the same. All right, so I'll explain a little bit about that as I go on. So first of all, what is it? All right, it's a place, yes, of records, and many of us are familiar with that, aren't we? And many of us will have accessed the Akashic Records. It's where we go to find out information about other lives that our soul lives. It reveals to us how what is playing out in those other lives influences the incarnation that we're in now. Okay, and it can reveal to us the root of some of what we're experiencing and where we need to heal. So it's extremely useful and valuable. But the key is, of course, why do we go, and what is our purpose? What do we do with the information that we glean when we're there? Okay, so there is a key purpose in why we go. Right, so they said the purpose is to heal. So when we locate information that is relevant the idea is that we want to transmute, to dissolve, if you like, that energy, including within our own energetic field, okay, in this incarnation, including soul ties that may be relevant, energetic ties, programming, there's so much, okay. But if we're experiencing difficulties in this incarnation, it can very often, not always, it can be ancestral or other kind of healing work we need to do, but it can very often be the case that there is something that we energetically have brought through from other lives that our soul has, and it is affecting us. So we can go into the Akash and find the root of where that started and deal with it from a root level, grassroots level. All right. So let's just talk about what else we find in this realm before we get into the sort of mechanics of how we work when we're there. So within the realm, yes, there are records. There are actually two kinds of records. So there are records that relate to our terrestrial lives, those lives that we live and are living on this planet Earth. And then there is a completely separate set of records which relate to our galactic lives, off planet, if you like. All right. Above these records is a wheel of karma, a karmic wheel. All right. And that is where really the energies are playing out, if you like. All right. It's where they're held within the quantum field. Okay. So they're not a record. Within the karmic wheel, they are a reality. Okay. Also, as well as the galactic records and the terrestrial records within this world, this realm, there is our soul template, is where we can go to access our soul template. And behind the template sits timelines, all the various possibilities and timelines that could and are playing out. All right. So I'm going to actually, the next video, which they've already relayed to me, is about timelines. So we'll talk a bit more about that. And of course, above all of this, and always available, is our connection to Source. Okay, our own divine connection to Source. So let's talk about how we experience these various elements and what the process is. All right. So first of all, when we go there, when we go there, we're talking about entering into the quantum field. So we're talking about astral travel. Okay. And there are rules, if you like, or certainly advice, strong advice, about what we do when we're there and how we enter that space. So first of all, it's key to set our intention. All right, so our intention, as with all kind of spiritual work and work we do in the quantum field, should be for the highest good of all involved. We all know that, don't we? All right. So secondly, is that we need to respect the space. All right. So when we enter the area that is the Akashic Records, there are Akashic keepers that work there, and you'll see them if you go there. And they are responsible for keeping the records in order. All right. And it's kind of well, I'll move on to the third point, which is to ask permission. Now, what do I mean by permission? It's about making sure that we don't just kind of go into the library, if you like, and rifle around and as human nature is, you know, curiosity can get the better of us, and we can think, oh, I could find out about this and that and this person and that person and what's going on with them and, you know, all of this. Well, no. It's really important that when we go to see the records, we have the permission of the soul that we're reading. All right? Okay. And if we don't, well, we won't find ourselves there very long, because the keepers will see to that. Okay. All right. So the fourth point is just to be specific. All right. So we're not going there, as I said, to kind of have a little bit of a dig around, a bit of a poke around. If we do, we'll do more damage than good. Therefore we need to be specific about, you know, who are we going for, whether it's ourselves or somebody else, and what is it that we want to address. Okay, what is the problem, the issue, the pattern that's playing out in somebody's lives, the relationship, the contract, you know, the soul contract or whatever it is that we want to get to the bottom of. All right? Okay. Right, where am I? Let's just see what they said. Right, okay, yes, just on the note of not sort of rifling through all of the records and just kind of being a free-for-all and being specific. They also said, in some cases, if we're not specific and thorough in all aspects of healing in this realm, what can happen is that it has the opposite effect, and we actually just stir up energies, and we can make a situation worse. And at the very least, the healing that we do there will be quite short term. Okay, so they're going to talk about the process in a moment, but they're just emphasizing at this point that it's very important that we are thorough. Okay. So, as regards to being specific, they said, yes, go in and ask to look at the root cause, the event or experience, and the relationships that relate to the issue. Okay, so this is important because things often play out across many lifetimes, and if we're not careful, we can go in and get kind of bogged down in all of the various ways that this energy is played out. Okay, it can be various ways it's played out in this incarnation that we're in now. You know, hence why we describe it as a pattern. But they said, don't get bogged down in that. Specifically ask to be shown, where did it start? What is the root? And if we address the root and we heal that, it then has a knock-on effect anyway. So we don't need to address all the ins and outs and what's gone on over the course of time. All right, going to the root cause will do that. Okay. So they said, once we've viewed the record and we understand it, so we've got a full grasp of what it is, what happened, what the repercussions are, what the lessons are, okay, who's involved, and so on, then we next work with the karmic wheel and where the energy is playing out there. Now, I just wanted to, at this point, describe a little bit about how I see, how I experience the Akashic realm. So when I go in, I see what looks like a very sort of palatial country house, all right, along European lines, okay, I suppose, or Western lines. So I walk in, and there's an enormous hall. Black and white tiles on the floor, white columns, palms in pots. That's how I see it. And then I walk through into a vast room, which does look and feel like a library, in as much as there's kind of tables and chairs and areas where there's sofas, you know, communal sort of reading areas and that kind of thing. And to the sides are the records themselves, and they are in enormous sort of floor-to-ceiling white drawers. They look like IKEA drawers. So there's no handles on them or anything. They're kind of like type you push and they open. And within those are lots of little white boxes that kind of like cardboard folded up boxes, like you might get a takeaway in, but they're small. They're kind of like this big, yeah. And within those are held the records. Okay, so at the end of this room are some kind of French doors that open and some steps down out into I guess the countryside beyond. So there are hills in the distance, and coming out from under the steps is a stream which flows in the distance down to an enormous wheel of water, which is vertical. And it's a wheel of water, it's just moving around like this, and that's how I see the karmic wheel, okay? And the boxes, the small boxes, flow out on the river and get caught up in this wheel, all right? So, having said that, so we view the record, and then we go to the karmic wheel, which is where that energy is playing out. So for me, as I said, that little white box flows out, okay, gets caught up in the wheel, all right? And at that point, I see it as a light, all right? So we go there to remove that energy. And then vitally, what is absolutely important, this goes back to being thorough in our healing, is that when we remove that energy, we then replace that, bringing down divine light to replace it. So we don't leave a hole, okay? Because where there's a hole, something else will come in. And we want to make sure that that something else is something that is for the benefit of all, okay? Good. So now that that's all done within the quantum field, we then go back to our own energetic field, all right, in this incarnation. And that's where we as healers, we scan and see where it sits. You can do this yourself, or you can of course ask your guides to show you where does it sit, either in your quantum field or your energetic field, or your clients. And then again, remove that and replace that with divine energy, okay, source energy. Next, obviously in the normal way, you would balance the chakras, you would ground, and so on. Now, the next step is absolutely crucial for long-term healing. And this is often something that gets overlooked. And sometimes people wonder, well, I'm doing the work, I've done the work, I'm having this healing, and I'm just finding it lasts so long and then I'm going back, okay? Right, so what's crucial for long-term permanent healing is that the change must be acknowledged by our subconscious, all right? Otherwise, our subconsciousness will kind of revert, all right? So I personally, I channel my guys to do this, and they bring in light language at that point. So it's a bit like, when we say we have a dog and we take it out for a walk, and it's a funny sort of way to put it, but so we take the dog out for a walk, and at some point it will do its business. It will mark its territory and on the walk, okay? Happy as Larry, off it goes home. The next day we take it out for a walk and we go along the same path. It will stop at that same place, okay, to check, and it will have a little sniff around. It'll think, somebody else has been here, something else has been here, and it doesn't smell like me anymore. I'm going to remark my territory. I'm going to do my business again. Off it goes, happy as Larry. Okay, so it's a bit like that. So when we make a change within our energetic field, our subconscious will pick up on that. And it will have, go and have a look at it and think, well, that's not right. That's not you. That's not me. Let's just go over it again, shall we? So it's really important that at this point we work with our subconscious and bring that on board to familiarize it with the change that has happened. Okay. As I said, I do that by bringing in my guides and bringing in messages through light language. Right. So finally, all that being done, of course, as always, at the end of any healing work, we return ourselves and anybody that we've been working with to our independent sovereignty. So we recall our own energy back to ourselves, we return their energy back to them, and we are independent sovereign beings. Okay. Now, just going to check. Yeah, okay. No, they're happy. They're happy with all of that. So, all right. And they are just saying next time we're going to talk about timelines. We're going to go and have a look about those timelines, what they are, and how they work. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to ask what the codes are going to be about today. Okay, they want to work on our third eye, all right, so that seeing aspect in particular, so the clairvoyance. Okay, they're just saying that's not the only way to experience the Akashic realm. It can also be a claircognizance, so it's a deep knowing, where the information will come through from our guides. So don't worry if you're not clairvoyant or you don't see or you don't astral travel. It doesn't matter. Set your intention and you can still work with the Akashic. Okay. Okay, and they also want to do there's something around. Yeah, something around our heart center and opening it up, and they're just emphasizing that, yeah, okay. So the heart is of course where our soul connection is. Okay. Everything is through the heart. So when we do this, we want to create a strong connection between the heart and the third eye. We will begin. Okay, just sit back. Excuse me. Embria mochai aleshe, embria leashe alehe, embria yana yanyarasha, embria rio yoria yariana, eshi yono yariani yariania, eshi yonoria maneariaraya, eshi moria maneariariana, eniachi yankoyan manearia. Eshe kuyana mariani area, eshe mariani area, eshe mariani area, Elias kiyatuyana mariarea, isi eshe ayanara, eshe area se ara yanara, Esekianaka, Esekianaka, Ekiakunukianaka, Ekiakiniakuyanaka, Yakayanaka, Eseakunakayanaka, Eneasukayanaka, Yanaka, 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 Ekiakuyanukuyanukuyanaka, Eseakuyanaka, Esea. Enekuya kunokoya nakaya naka. Thank you. Okay. Good. All right. Right, so as always, you know where to find me. You can find me on Facebook and message me. You can email me. I have a new website, which I've been working on. Have to say, it's not so good in the mobile version at the moment. So I can't quite figure out how to do that. But I'm on it. I'm working on it. But yes, I now have a website, so you can find me Arwen Welsh. Just Google Arwen Welsh, and probably best that you look at it on your laptop. Right, so, and through that you can also book sessions with me and so on. But you know, I'm always open to questions. So in fact, actually, I almost forgot, on that note, they would like to start a Q&A session. So this will be where I bring them through and channel live with the guides that I work with, and there will be an opportunity to ask questions. So what I'd like is to start us off. If you have questions, things that you would like to ask, please email me or message me in another way, as I said, via Facebook, and then I can work with them and see which ones they'd like to take up, and hopefully do some videos. And if that works well, then as I said, we'll sort of move on and do some live Q&A as well. All right, so that's quite exciting for 2023. And I know that they're going to be doing another message quite shortly, definitely before Christmas, because they want to talk to you about the energies that are going on at the moment. And they just keep every time, it's like my heart, I talk about this and they're talking about it, it's like my heart is just expanding, and it is all about opportunities that are coming in 2023. So they want to talk to us about that. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna have to make sure I leave time to do that before Christmas. Gosh, it's so busy, isn't it? Yeah, anyway, I hope you're all well and are gonna have a lovely time over the holidays, but I'll speak to you before then. All right, take care, lots of love, bye.